Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy. It's a chilly, damp morning, but we're on our way over to Madison, Bouckville. Just got done messaging over on Facebook with Primetime Treasure Hunter. Hopefully be able to meet up with him there. If so, you'll see him in a video as well. And hopefully I'm in a video in his as well. Support him if you haven't already. Want to thank Local Mike. I have different directions. Usually I go one way. He provided me with a different way to get there. That's going to save about 20 minutes getting over. So that's huge. So I definitely want to thank Local Mike. A little bit bittersweet. The positive is I'm going with Mrs. Papergoy, and she's never been to one of these before, so hopefully she really enjoys it. And the other positive of that is she'll be doing a lot of the videos, and she's a great cinematographer, so that's great. The negative, unfortunately, usually I go with Papergoy, and he's not in good health. He'll be with me in spirit, and walking around and looking at the stuff and being in spirit. So hopefully we find some really, really great things. Got a couple of bucks in my pocket. Hopefully able to buy some stuff. As I noted over in the live video, I'm kind of changing what I'm buying. I'm going to be heading more toward a whatnot centric selling strategy. So I'm going to be buying things heading into what would sell better on Whatnot, books and things like that. So I got to absolutely pay right because the prices are not necessarily there on Whatnot. That being said, be able to turn the stuff over a lot quicker. So we'll get some video for you from the show. Be able to go to the hotel tonight because it's a 2-day event. So definitely that's the other important thing about it, going today and tomorrow. Hopefully it's not too swampy up there. We had some really, really big storms Tuesday night into Wednesday, flash flooding and all that kind of stuff, and I'm sure they had storms up there as well. That is one of the big problems with when you're going to a show with grass fields and everything, is the fact that people, leave paper stuff out, it gets wet, it gets damaged and all that stuff. So hopefully we're not sinking in the quagmire, and if we are, that'll make great content too. So we'll see you from the show. Come on along.
Go. And here we are. This here is Cider House Campground, one of many, many campgrounds that we have over there. And Mrs. Papergoy is showing the map there as well as the dates. These are all the various fields that were available. And we're going to head on in, as we always do at this show, kind of head on in underneath the tent, or underneath the starting spot over here. Now there are tents off to the side as well. Now this over here is like the primo place. A lot of people will be here. They pay the most for it because it's the number one place that everybody goes to. It's also fully encased like this. As you can see, they can close the back doors as well. So the weather affects here the least out of anywhere. That being said, there are two rows worth of these over here. And I buy very little from them. There's about 2 to 3 dealers that I buy from under here that always set up. And that's another thing that you'll find when you go to these shows, is it's the same people tend to set up in the same spot year after year after year. So once you've learned who they are and learn what they've got for sale, you can seek them out because, again, they're going to get their same spot year after year after year. A lot of stuff in here, as you can see. Mrs. Papergoy, thank you very much for doing the video. Walking a little faster to get around people, but that's all jewelry, which I don't do anyway. There's a lot of jewelry there as well. But prices tend to be, who's that handsome man? Prices tend to be a little bit higher, again, underneath here because they pay the most for these spots over here. These are the really good spots. And as you can see with the floor and everything, even if it rains, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. Whereas the rest of the area can end up turning into a swamp. So because of that, they're gonna have a little bit higher prices as well. These tend to be, not to disparage anybody else, these tend to be the most established dealers out there. Now this over here is a bit of a tent here, but it also has large tent there that everybody is underneath. I heard people talking, they're paying $700 to $800 for a spot underneath here is what the rumor was over here, and a couple of dealers talking. Saw, you got some jack-o'-lantern stuff, you've got some just great stuff all over the place throughout here. Just hot Frankfurts, there you go. Everything that you possibly need, a scale. windows. And again, a lot of these things I just walk right by very, very quickly because, again, well, this is my second time through. As you see, I'm leading down with stuff. But also, this is all stuff that I'm not interested in. Although there's a big boy for me. I can put that up. Traffic lights. I've always wondered about that, how they're able to sell traffic lights, street signs, and that kind of stuff. Because you know that they didn't buy their own traffic light back in the day. But that's a whole nother story over there. The one problem, though, is you do get stuck behind people sometime or other like that over there. And then you're trying to get around them. It's a little harder, too, when you're trying to do the camera. You saw some bottles over there, some really nice clocks. And like that gentleman right there that you just passed, he had clocks and bottles. So he's going to be somebody or other that specializes in that kind of thing. I can walk by those booths fairly quickly because they're not going to have things that I want. That gentleman there's got all bottles. One little thing, if you're into paper, though, a lot of times the dealers will have paper hidden at the back corner of the thing because it isn't really what they deal in, but they just kind of throw it all out. You do the best you can at trying to find as much of it as you possibly can because the show is large enough that you're not able to run to the back of every single booth. It's just not going to happen because there are over 1,000 dealers. So you would spend all your time running in booths. You never get through everything. So you just kind of accept that you're going to end up missing some stuff while you're out there. You got comic books. You got everything out over here. So you definitely do want to check this out. 2 shows. The third week of August, the entire week they have it. And then they also have it as well first week of June. Some nice little artwork there and much, much more stuff coming up here. There you go. A little bit of pottery or plates and all that. There I am, keeping up on the eBay business. Whole nother tent back there as well. And now these are some of the outside things. Now, obviously, the Mrs. Papergoy is running very, very fast, or we're driving through the town. I wanted to give you a bit of an overview of what the entire town looks like. Now, you're not allowed to park along the road. They will allow you to pick things up, though. So if you buy something or other from somebody that's right along the road, all you do is you just sit there and you say, hey, I'll come back and pick it up. I ended up doing that with somebody as well. Now, some of the tents got fewer people in them, and this entire side of town, as a matter of fact, had a lot fewer people in there than usual. But you got the big billboard there as well in order to tell people that, hey, here it is. This is when it is. And now we're heading on over to the other side of town as well. Like I said, there's a bridge right in the middle. And what we tend to do is we go for one show, one side of it for one day, and then we do the other side for the other day. But that's tent after tent after tent. These people do rent the tents. You definitely would want to do so because inevitably with a 7-day show, there's going to be some rain at least one or a couple of days as well. A lot of people just leave all their stuff except their most valuable stuff. They leave it underneath the tent as well and just close it up. You always got to be careful, too, to watch for pedestrians when you're driving through. It can be a little tough. Now, this year over here, there were a lot fewer people. If you compare the haul videos I've done in the past from here, again, a lot fewer people. You don't see the people along the side of the road there walking and everything like that. And, yeah, it's a little overcast, but it's still a nice day. And that's why we did the one live show about kind of how these shows seem to be aging out because years and years and years ago when I came to the first one of these, it was unbelievable. There was just nowhere at all to walk. You were tripping over people. And look at this here. You could throw a baseball down the center there and not hit anybody. So unfortunately, the show has seen better days there. It still was a good show. I did very well, which you'll see in the upcoming haul portion of the video. But again, we wanted to kind of give you the overview, head on through town, so you can just kind of grasp the enormity of it and realize that it's smaller than it was in the past. It used to be probably 30% bigger than it is now. So hopefully you like that. Stay tuned for the haul video portion of it. And we're back. We're staying in beautiful Utica, New York. Unfortunately, we weren't able to hook up with Primetime Treasure Hunter today. He was there, but then it started to rain, and I was carrying some heavy boxes, so we just said, hey, maybe we'll catch up tomorrow. Don't know. Shout out to the couple of dealers that I went and saw yet again, including a good guy that I talked to for a while who sells over on Whatnot as well. So a lot of fun over there with that. Spent $286 today.
Got a nice big box over here of stuff that I'm not going to show you, only because it's not primo stuff. Got a pile of books over here that'll end up on Whatnot. Got a pile of ephemera over here that'll end up on Whatnot as well. And a few of these things over here will end up in Whatnot, and some of this will end up on eBay as well. Some of the highlights. Highway Traveler. Doesn't look like much. Neat little cover, no big deal, until you look down here in the bottom corner. World's Fair travel number. I didn't see a date on it. I'm sure it's got to be 1939. That's my expectation. The other nice thing about buying something like this is I've shown you any number of times in the past in other haul videos, World's Fair things that I end up buying. So this being a World's Fair, you put this up, it'll drive traffic to your other items as well. Paid $1, so you can't go wrong. Pick this up as well. This will be going over on to Whatnot. I thought it was really, really neat. It's for a restaurant. It was a game for the kids to play. But the nice thing about it is these are supposed to be taken out, and they're still in down there. And this here is still here on the bottom as well. So I got to do a little bit of research as to what Tritzel's Travels is. But Valley Forge, Lansdale on through, so it's going to be something or other in Pennsylvania. So it's a pretty neat little item over here. You don't tend to find things like this undamaged because it was meant for the kids. So the kids played with it. Another thing I got, and this was just kind of interesting, I ended up buying this. Unfortunately, Papergoy is not doing well, but we're going to be seeing him out in Vegas this week, as we mentioned over on the live show. I picked this up and a couple of little Las Vegas items. I'll bring this out there too. I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun looking through it, talking about the various casinos that he would have gone to and the like. And then afterwards, I'll end up selling it as well. Anything Vegas. This is from 1977. Vegas stuff's always popular, so pick it up when you see it. I paid 4 items for $5 is what I ended up getting, so $1.25 an item. So I can't argue with that. The gentleman there had books, and I said, how much are the books? And he goes, well, the prices range. Pick one up and I'll give you a price on it, just to kind of give you an idea as to what things go. So I saw this over here, 1858 Modern Geography of the World. So how much is something like this? And he goes, oh, that would be $3. I said, okay, I can shop with you. So it's 1858, got great graphics inside, just a great little book over here. I haven't had it before. I didn't go through it to see if there's maps or not, but if there are maps in here as well, you add even more to the value. Pretty high grade for being that old. To pay $3, it's got to be at least 25, 30 minimal, and maybe even more once I do some research on it. Item that you'll be seeing over on Whatnot. It is a little bit newer. It's 1970s. But check that out. That is a great little paper doll costume with Halloween on it. Halloween stuff always sells. It's got something on the backside as well. So I ended up picking this up over there to bring over to Whatnot because I think that people will definitely like that. Not the greatest of shape, but the person had a thing for $1 a piece. Unfortunately, again, it's not the greatest of shape, but I could tell right by the cover. I said, that is a great cover. It's got to be art, it is Art Deco. It's got to be 1930. Sure enough, 1934. People love the old cocktail recipes and everything like that in there. Again, it's got condition issues on it, but to pay $1 for it, that's got to be a $25 to $30 item anyway. Another item that I ended up picking up for $1, and this is one of the few non-paper items that I buy all the time, are sealed sheets. They're actually a lot more common than you think out there. They go for about $20 is usually what they go for. Now, unfortunately, this is not of a great pattern, but it's still got to be 1950s just from the looks of it. To pick that up for $1, I guarantee that costs more than $1 to start with. So, bought that. This over here, jigsaw puzzle, you'll be seeing this over on Whatnot as well. I opened it up and made sure that it indeed was complete, which it is. See if I can do this without spilling it. It indeed is complete, which is uncommon in jigsaw puzzles, obviously. Neat little item right over there. Paid $1 for it. I will be bringing it to you for $3 over on Whatnot, so definitely buy that. Arch Brothers stuff always sells, and this is all Groucho, 5 Grouchos. This magazine itself will sell for about $10 normally, just any issue. But this one over here definitely will be even more popular because of Groucho Marx on it. So do pick up Groucho Marx stuff when you are out there. Another thing to pick up while you're out there, JFK. They solved the murder. There you go. 1973. These kind of things, tabloid kind of style, things like this, people will want things like this. I did not pay very much for it whatsoever. It's the kind of thing you put it up at $25, $30, something like that. Somebody will eventually buy it because there are Kennedy collectors out there and they don't have something like this in their collection. So you can end up selling that pretty well. I got this from my friend who sells over on Whatnot. Unfortunately, it does have a little bug damage down over there. But do buy these when you see them if they've got the nice little color advertisements inside. Or, you know, things inside Snapdragons and all that. He gave me a good deal. I can't argue. Left some money on the table for me. So do pick these up. You'll find them all the way back into the late 1800s. The better the graphics, the more you should pay on it. Now this somebody else was asking $15 on. I ended up getting it for $10. It's from 1893. But the reason I bought it is it's just got lots and lots of great furniture ads inside of it. And to get something or other like this for that kind of price as it falls apart in my hands is a really good deal. You're going to take a lot of pictures though. This does not sell itself. You have to sell it. But if you take a lot of pictures on it, you'll be able to do very, very well with that. Somebody else had a bunch of these type magazines, the digest all the way into the large size magazines. And this one is kind of odd because it's actually in color. Most of the time they're not in color. Most of the time they're in black and white, like that. But they're risque jokes. But people do collect these kind of things. One of the things is keep an eye out for the artist. Bill Ward may have done some of the stuff in these, and he's one of the names that you definitely want to know. In general, these go for $10, $15, $20 a piece. Could be even more. Dan DiCarlo actually did some work in some of those as well. While we're talking about humor magazines, unfortunately, this is not in the best of shape. However, I bought it because I wanted to tell you about this in the haul video. Ballyhoo. This is a magazine. Keep your eyes open for this. They are out there from time to time. Has value. Anytime you see an issue of Ballyhoo, you can buy it for $1 or $2. Buy it. They are very good magazines. We're nearly done over here. Gnomes is another thing that you'll see out there. Even the large book. The large book will sell over on Amazon. This is lesser. You see a lot less often. It's a coloring book, but it definitely will sell as well. So anything Gnomes from the late 70s, do pick up. They will sell. Paid $1 for it. It sells. Another item I paid $1 for over here. The Zodiac calendar 1971. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but it's got some great little graphics on it and all that kind of stuff from 71. Haven't decided how I'm going to sell it yet. It is embossed a little bit right there too. Pretty neat little item right there. I decided to take a chance on something like that. Last few items over here. York leg developing course. 1943. People love that over there. List gay interest when you list this. Anytime you've got the bodybuilders in it, people end up wanting to buy that as well with the barbells in the back. Don't know what it's worth. I know it's worth more than what I paid for it. So pretty neat little item right over there. Last 5. We're down to 5. Picked this up and I don't know what it is because I did not research it yet. I think I'm going to end up keeping this because it is pretty neat. It's got to be late 1800s, early 1900s. Looks like it might be some kind of a paper sample because it's blank inside, but are those great graphics on the front or what? And again, I bought this from my Whatnot friend, so that is good. He also sold me this, which I was able to use the Google Translate on, and it's King James, John Gospel in Mandarin. So it's pretty neat, and it's from the 1890s. So something other like that is pretty neat, and I'll probably just put that away for now anyway, but it is really, really neat. Last 3 items. We've all seen these, but who owns one? Well, you can too. You could do the children's eye chart, but the reason I picked this up, I've never seen that before, where it lists, you would name umbrella, house, etc., etc. It's copyright 1961. It was only $1. Figured I would take a chance on something or other like that. Don't know anything at all about it, but I'm going to learn. And these are the things you pick up when you see them for the opportunity to learn. Last 2 items. Believe it or not, this was $1. which I thought was absolutely beautiful. But it also has lots of greeting cards inside of it. So I couldn't believe it was just $1. But for that price, you cannot go wrong whatsoever with those great graphics. And finally, the buy of the day, without a doubt, $2.50 a piece. Columbia Review. You say big deal, except first place poems by Allen Ginsberg. A new poem by Allen Ginsberg. One of these things over here, as soon as I saw it, I said, oh, those are worth a couple $100 each. I did find a similar one over on eBay or on Abe Books, I think it was. They're asking $150. I didn't really match up whether it's one of these or not, or just a similar one. Great stuff. Allen Ginsberg, of course, is one of those names out there that you always want to take a look at. So overall, for having spent $268, I did very well. Had a lot of fun out there. Said hi to a lot of people that I've seen in the past. And we're going back tomorrow. So tomorrow afternoon, hopefully I'll be doing yet another haul video. So wish me luck going on out, and we will see you tomorrow. And we're back, day 2. Mrs. Papergoy is a little less than happy, as if you follow the camera, you see some books, and some more books, and some more books. It's really good to talk to people when you're out there. There was a gentleman there that had a pile of stuff, and I'm going to show you a couple of things out of it. Home Needlework Magazine, 1915, Art and Crochet number 13 from around the same period. He had a whole bunch of things like this that I ended up making a pile of. A few other things in there as well. I said, work with me on the price. He said, yeah, of course. $2 on this, $2 on this, which is a steal to start with. Bolo, look for early 1910s and before stuff with knitting, sewing, and all that kind of stuff. They definitely do sell tatting. All that stuff sells. So made a pile, and he said, it adds up to $137. It's yours for $90. I said, sounds good. So I bought the pile from him. He then said, oh, by the way, all the books I have today are $1 each. I was asking $3. I just want them gone, $1 each. I said, I'm interested. Tell you what, I'm going to walk around and do my shopping. When we come back, you can wholesale whatever's left out to me. He goes, sounds good. I walked around, did some shopping, walked back, and I walk up to him and I go, hey, what's going on? You ready? He goes, yep. I got 90 books and a bunch of other stuff, some magazines and other miscellaneous paper. It's all yours for $50. I said, okay. Probably 150 to 200 items in there. So I paid basically 30 some cents a piece, I would say, on them. A lot of military books, a lot of other oddball little things, some pieces of ephemera. Absolutely perfect with the Whatnot auctions that I have coming up. So if you see a lot of military books in future Whatnot auctions, you know why. So that's kind of, you got to get the feel for people what they have. Now I'm going to say overall, there were a lot fewer dealers than usual. Even in the field where there usually were a lot of dealers, half the dealers had left already. And the show started last Sunday/Monday. This was only Friday, so we were going into the big weekend where they would be doing very well. Some dealers ended up leaving. I've never heard so many different stories about how much money people were making. Some people said they were doing really well. Some people said they were doing terrible. There was no consensus on it. Some people did great. One guy said, I sold all my paper. Another guy was looking through, he goes, I haven't sold any paper all week. So it's hit or miss for all the dealers. They were paying between $300 to $700 for a spot, depending upon where they were set up at as well. So that's kind of important to know as well when you're out there. Chat people up, find out how it's going. Definitely a lot fewer dealers than usual, a lot fewer customers than usual, so you were able to buy. I ended up spending $210 today on top of the $288 or whatever, you got to watch the old video, that I spent yesterday. A couple of other things, and again, there was not a lot there today. Basically, those two big buys was it. Do keep your eyes open for these. People love these. These are the old circus programs, especially with the circus not really being around anymore, you know, no animals, all that kind of stuff. People do like the old circus programs. Obviously, earlier is better. I would guess this is 1980s or 90s. However, this still does sell as well. So pick them up. I actually got this and a couple of other items I'm going to show you from a dealer. He had boxes of stuff, and it's always a good sign when they've got banana boxes all over the place, no order at all. That tells you they're a clean out guy. and they just want the stuff gone. So I started looking and I said, how much is it? He goes, cheap. I said, make a pile. He goes, oh, you make a pile and you're taking it home. I said, sounds good. So Mrs. Papergoy found some jewelry and stuff she wanted. I found some stuff I wanted. I went up there. He took one look. He goes, looks like $10 to me. And he didn't even look at what I had taken, didn't look at what she had taken, just $10. He was happy to have it gone. One of the things that was in there, not the greatest of shape, it's got a little water damage there, but O. Henry candy bar. And on the back it says bills from 1964. So it's a 1960s candy bar or candy box. You can sell these old boxes. People do collect these kind of things. Not the greatest of shape, but for the price I paid, you cannot argue. Also got, and this is something or other that we take for granted up here in the Northeast, Weekly News and Democrat newspaper. He had like 6 or 7 of these different newspapers in there. 1888. No idea at all what's the news in here, but I knew it would be cheap enough, and you can end up selling things like this regularly if you find the old newspapers. So for the price I paid, can't argue. And the last 2 things I ended up buying today, this was in there as well, Flibbity Gibbet. You'll find this coming up in an upcoming Whatnot auction. The reason why, Vernon Grant. He did a lot of stuff with the Snap Crackle Pop. He's actually, if you take a look at him, you'll recognize his art. Buy his stuff. His stuff always sells. Just mention his name and you'll sell it. And the last interesting thing I bought today, which I tell you every single show to buy, is Old Fost Gift Town Gift Book, 1964. Yep, it's a catalog. Didn't even bother looking through exactly what was in it. I saw it was a thick enough catalog. I knew what it was. They wanted $5 on it. Look at those beautiful toys in there. So they wanted $5. I knew it would be a good deal at that. You just got to show a lot of pictures and this kind of things in order to sell it. So sadly, don't have much more to show you. I do have one last thing. I picked this up for Mr. Magazine. Don't tell him. He doesn't watch the video, so he won't know. Paid $5 for it, but it's 1960s because it's got Adam West and Burt Ward on it. Awesome looking cover here, Sean Connery and the like. I'm going to sell it to him. If he didn't want it, which I know he does, I'm thinking this is probably a $25 to $30 magazine, something or other like that. So do keep your eyes open for something oddball like that. I've never seen it in all the years that I've been doing this. Happy to have it, but I'm sure he needs it as well. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. Kind of read the room when you're buying from dealers. That's the lesson that we learned today. Talk. Luckily, I can do that. But definitely talk to the dealers and figure out what they're selling, why they're selling it, how they're doing. You can end up getting really, really good deals too, because again, they know they've got another deal coming along. They're willing to get rid of it to you cheap. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. If you could help me, hit the like button, and we will see you next video.